heavy and you always paddle in the stern, but you have a light bow person, then you go on and move forward. Or if you had it your light person always in the stern, heavy in the bow, then you get this back a little close to the center. But, you know, just the nature of a canoe, you're always carrying stuff.
Yeah.
The stuff you carry does have final trim, so you just kind of shoot for an average, you know, when you build, because there's no, yeah. But if you did know, then you could move things around a bit. The trick here is to find out how long the seat is going to be when it's hanging down here. So on this boat, because the sides are pretty well plumb, you might be able to guess at it. But like the Ranger or Bob Special, anything where the sides curl out, tumble home, the position for the seat is a whole lot wider down there than it is on top. So we can't just lay this over the gunnels and mark it perfect. So one of the problems is to be able to measure that accurately at the right elevation to transfer those numbers over to your seat. So this little jig here will give you the height of the seat above the bottom. And so this becomes the base, you know, for the measurement. You should measure both ways in this. And then when you fit the seat, it sit on here and it's not falling all over the place. So to get started, we'll lay the seat on the lines. And we have those marks when we laid it out to cut the scuppers. That. So now, pick up the width, all we need to do is measure across with our sticks. So we know that the front of this was the edge of our seat, which is this line here. Back of the seat would be here. So when we pick up the width of the front, lines across. In terms of level, if you look at that white piece, try to get the same both sides, that's pretty well level. You put a little spring clamp on there. And then you transfer that to here. So before you can transfer that, you need to find out the middle of the seat. So that would be with a straight edge, project that line out to here and here, then divide that in the middle. If you were sure that these arms were equal, then you could measure length to length and get the middle. But what we're going to end up with is the seat. So if we divide on the seat, then we're sure it's going to be right. So you'll project that out, find here, find the middle, and then divide this in half and work out from that center line. And so that's going to give you a point out here, and here, here, and here. Then to pick up the angle this way, just lay it over to top of the gunnels and eyeball down. You know, this isn't a triangle, so it's not a straight line from there to there because our boat is curving up this way. So we need to pick the angle for here and a different one for here. So you would lay your straight edge on and eyeball this getting parallel to here, when you draw that line. So it would be a different one there. So that will put us down to here, and then we're going to cut out the dowel into those lengths as spacers to hold the seat down, and then we'll put a big bolt down here. So the bolt we want to compass is the same so that the head ends up flush with the top. So when you cut the dowels, you measure one side and cut the dowels in pairs. If you cut them in pairs, then you know that it's going to be level. You know, if I put that in, you measure one side, the other side's not necessarily the same, but if I cut both of my dowels the same, it ends up being the same. Two sizes of holes. The hole that goes into the inwell, we want it to be a snug fit. We don't want to have to drive this thing into the hole, but it shouldn't be sloppy. And the idea is, because all your weight is hanging on these bolts from the inwell, we want to leave as much meat around that bolt as we can. But when we get into drilling through the dowel, we want a sloppy hole in there. And when we drill through the seat frame, you want kind of a sloppy hole there. I don't mean really big, but you know, the bolts just drop through. The reason for that is, you know, when we take these old bolts apart, the way they did it, they put it in, they had the spacer, and then they had a great big long bit, worn the hole down through everything, put in the bolt, and often they were just plated steel, so it rusts over time. The wood bonds itself onto the bolt, so you kind of pull the seats out in the future, and it's bonded in here. So you start driving wedges in, and pretty soon you break that in well. So by having a sloppy hole here, 20 years from now, somebody can get that seat up and revarnish with all the angst we have with the old stuff.